So complement of a set. Okay. The complement of a set A is denoted by A dashed. Okay. Read as A complement and is defined as X such that X does not belong to A and X belongs to the universal set. Okay. So all those elements that are not in A but are there in the universal set is called the complement of a set. Okay. Sometimes it is also defined as the universal set minus the set A. Okay. So both definitions will work, either this definition or this definition. Let us take an example to demonstrate this. Suppose I give you the set A is equal to and I give you this universal set xi is equal to this up till 10. Then what should be A complement? Now, as I said, A complement are those elements which are there in the universal set, but which are not there in the set A. So if you see 1 is in the set A, so I will remove 1. So 1 will not be there in A complement. 2 is there in the universal set, but it is not in A, so I can write 2. 3 is there in A, so therefore 2 I will also not write. 3 I will also not write, okay? Because 3 is already there in A. Next element is 4. If you see, 4 is there in the universal set and 4 is not there in A. Therefore, I will include 4. What about 5? 5 is there in the universal set, but 5 is also there in A. So therefore, I will not write 5. 6. 6 is there in the universal set, but 6 is not there in A. Therefore, I will write 6. 7 is there in A, so I will not write 7. What about 8? 8 is there in the universal set, but it is not there in A. So I will include 8. 9 I will not include because 9 is there in A. Okay, and what about 10? Yes, we'll include 10. Okay, so this is my A
Sir,
complement. Yes.
sir, I'm saying that if we consider 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 as B, then in place of A dash there will be B dash.
I could not get you. Repeat your question.
So I'm saying that if we consider B in the place of A, then the answer will be in B dash.
Yes, if I say that this set is B, then this will be become B complement or B dash. Okay, clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So basically what is happening here is B is getting converted to B dash. Okay, so from B you are finding B dash. Okay, let's take the next example. The next example here is given xi is equal to, now this is given in your set builder form, x such that x is a letter of the English alphabet. Okay, this set is the universal set given. Okay, the set A is given to you as A B, C, D, E, F. This is given in a tabular form, the set A. Now they are asking you to find out A complement. So what should be A complement? The universal set consists of all the letters of the English alphabet. A consists of only the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F. Then what should be A complement? All those elements that are not in A. So what alphabets are not there in A?
G, H, I,
So
J.
the last 20 alphabets.
Yes. K and so on. Okay. So this is in tabular form and this will continue till Z. Okay. And if you want to write this in just set builder
Okay,
form, you
sir.
can write this as X such that, yes,
Sir,
wait. Yes.
sir, I'm saying that can we stop till there A complement is equal to last 20 digit of it, uh, English alphabet?
Yes. You can write.
Sir, yes.
You can write either
Okay,
in tabular form or the way I'm writing just now.
okay, sir.
Both are correct and you don't need to write both. Okay. Now, because your this set, if you see this set is given, this set A is given to you in tabular form. So better to express A dash in tabular form only. Okay. If the set A was given in set builder form, then you should have expressed A complement in set builder form. Okay. We shall see in the next problem here. Number 3. Universal set here given to you is X such that X is a month of the X is a month of a year. Okay, that means X contains Jan, Feb, March, and so on. Okay, and Xi is given in set builder form. A is given to you in tabular form. They've given you A as January, June, and July. Okay, so what should be A complement? All those months that are not there in A. What are the months that are not there in A? Feb is not there. March, April, May. June is there, so you cannot write June. July is also there, so you cannot write July. So again, you have August, September, October, November, and December. Okay. So A is given to you in tabular form, so you have expressed this in tabular form. Up till this is okay. However, if you want to write this in your set builder form, you can write X such that what if you see what something that is common in all is that none of the months start with the letter J. So you can write this as X is a month which does not begin with the letter J. Okay. So that's it. So complementation, is it clear? Or any question you have?
No, sir.
Okay, then we can proceed to the next definition. The next definition is that of overlapping sets, but this is overlapping set I've already mentioned to you. But this time overlapping sets has a little technical definition. Okay. Now that you know the operations, we'll define overlapping sets in terms of the operations. Overlapping sets. Two sets A and B are said to be overlapping if their intersection is not a null set. That is, A intersection B is not equal to a null set. Okay, two sets A and B are said to be overlapping if the intersection of the two sets is not a null set. Consider these examples. Suppose I give you A is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I give you B is equal to 0, 3, 6, 9. You see, you find out A intersection B. How do you find out A intersection B? You check what elements are common between the two. What are the common elements? Only 3 and 6 are common. So is A intersection B equal to null set? Is it an empty set? No, it is not an empty set, right? It contains two elements, 3 and 6. So we say, hence, A and B are overlapping sets. Is this definition clear to everyone? Yes? Any question?
No, sir.
Suppose I give you another one. A, E, I, O, U, the set P. And I give you the set Q is equal to A, B, C. To check whether these two are overlapping sets, what do? You find out P intersection Q. So what is P intersection Q? If we see what is the common element between P and
Only
Q?
A.
Only A. So is this a null set?
No, sir.
So therefore, it is not a null set. So therefore, we say P and Q are overlapping sets.
Sir, I am not able to understand this overlapping sets.
P intersection Q, just find out P intersection Q. What is P intersection Q here? Is this a null set? It has one element inside it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, it is not, it is an overlapping set. If it was a null set, then we would have said they are not overlapping sets. Understood?
Okay, sir.
Let us take a third example. It will be more clear. Suppose I give you the set A is equal to 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. And if I give you the set B as, let's say I give you 11, 12, and 13. Okay. Now, are they overlapping sets? Find out A intersection B. Are there any common element between A and B?
No, sir. It is a null
No.
set.
It's a null set. So we say hence P and Q are not overlapping sets. Okay. So something has to be common between two sets for them to be overlapping. In fact, this case, when A intersection B is not equal to 0, you know what we say? We say P and Q are disjoint sets. Understood? We'll come to the next definition of disjoint sets. Okay. When A intersection B is a null set, we say A and B are disjoint sets. Okay. So let's check the definition of disjoint sets. Next one. Disjoint sets. Two sets A and B are said to be disjoint if their intersection is a null set. If A intersection B is a null set. Okay. Whenever you see two sets in which you don't have anything in common, then you say they are disjoint sets. Example. So first find out A intersection B. Do you see anything common between these two sets? Nothing is common. So A intersection B is a null set. So hence we say A and B are disjoint sets. Clear with disjoint sets? Now you know the difference between disjoint sets and overlapping sets?
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, we have get null set as A intersection B, but when we will do B intersection A, then it also will be a null set.
Yes, it will also be a null set. We'll come to the properties. We'll see that A intersection B and B intersection A are nothing but the same set. They are equal sets. Okay. We'll come to that definition. Let's see another example. A is equal to, say, Jan, March, and May. say the set B is equal to red, blue. Okay. Find out A intersection B. You see A intersection B, nothing is common between the two. A intersection B is a null set. So hence we say A and B are disjoint sets. Okay. So that is what the definition is. We now come to the next important part, which is called the properties. All these properties you will have to remember.
Sir, if the overlapping set will be a null set, then it will also be called as disjoint set.
Overlapping sets cannot be null sets. Repeat your question once again. Let me understand it properly. Tell me, what were you
Sir, I'm
asking?
saying that if an overlapping set will be a null set, then it will also be a disjoint set.
Overlapping set cannot be null set because if two sets are overlapping, they will have something in common. Then they cannot be disjoint. So either a set can be overlapping or disjoint. They cannot be overlapping and disjoint at the same time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Properties of union and intersection. First property relating to union. Any set A, union a null set will always give you the set A. The set A, union, the universal set will give you the universal set. Any set A, union with itself, A union A will give you the set A. Remember these, okay? These are very easy also. I mean, obviously A union null set will give you the A, and A union the universal set will give you the universal set. These are quite basic. You can check it with the help of examples also. Any example you take, you will get it. Next is with respect to intersection, what are the properties? A intersection a null set will give you a null set because nothing is common between a set and a null set. A intersection the universal set will give you the set A. A intersection A will give you the set A. Okay, this is the first property of union and intersection. Second property with respect to union. A union A complement. The union of A with its complement will always give you the universal set. Obviously, because A complement consists of all those elements that are not there in A. So therefore, if you take A and all the elements that are not there in A, you will get the universal set. Next, A intersection A complement will be a null set because A complement consists of those elements that are not there in A. So obviously nothing will be common between the two. So A intersection A complement will be a null set. Third, A union B is equal to B union A. Okay, this property is also called commutative law. With respect to union. Okay, so whether you write A union B or B union A, it's the same thing. Next, A will always be a subset of A union B, right? This is also from common sense. If you have A union B, obviously all the elements of A will be there in A union B. So A will be a subset of A union B. Similarly, B will also be a subset of A union B. Okay. And A union B will always be a subset of the universal set. Obviously, universal set A and B are subsets. A union B will consist of the elements of A and B. So therefore, A union B will also be a subset of the universal set. Next, what you were asking last time. If I write A intersection B and B intersection A, will it be the same? Yes, because A intersection B is equal to B intersection A. So whether you write A intersection B or B intersection A, both are the same. So this is also called commutative law with respect to intersection. Okay. With respect to intersection, what are the properties? A intersection B will always be a subset of A. Why? Because A intersection B consists of the elements that are common to A and B. So obviously, whatever A intersection B will be there, all the all the elements of A intersection B will all obviously be in A, because we are taking only the common element between A and B. And A intersection B will always be a subset of B. Okay. So these properties, remember. Next is properties of complementation. Properties of complementation. What are the properties? Only two properties, very small properties, that the complement of a universal set will be a null set. And the complement of the null set will be the universal set. So these are very basic properties. Obviously, if you take the complement of the universal set, you will get nothing, because all the elements are there in the universal set. And if you take the complement of the null set has nothing. So if nothing is removed from the universal set, it will give you the universal set back, right? So that is what this is. Next, properties of difference of sets.
So we will do sums from tomorrow.
Examples I'll start today itself. Yes, I think from tomorrow only. I'll finish the properties and problems I'll start tomorrow. Next property is from difference of sets. A minus B is the same as A intersection B complement. This can be checked, okay? You better remember this property. B minus A is the same as B intersection A complement. So whether you write B minus A or you write B intersection A complement, it will be the same thing. And finally, you have De Morgan's laws. How many of you have taken computers? Computers, many of you have taken?
Sir, I have taken.
Do you do Boolean algebra in computers?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Now, De Morgan's laws has a lot of applications in lot of other fields. Okay. De Morgan's law will also have applications here. This is remember De Morgan's law. If you are a science student, you have to remember De Morgan's law. A union B complement is equal to A complement intersection B complement. See that what is happening here? If I have the complement of this union here, and when this complement distributes itself over A and B, this from union, it becomes intersection. That is what this rule is. Okay. The union becomes the intersection on distribution of the complement over A and B. So if I have now A intersection B complement, then if I distribute the complement over A and B, this intersection will now become union. Okay. Is De Morgan law clear? Any question you have
Yes,
on?
sir.
Okay. So I'll stop here then.